What's shaking booktube? Welcome back to another video. My name is Cam. Today I want to tell you that I have a mate. Surprise, surprise. Yes, I have friends. And one of those friends wrote a book. And I, the guy who has friends, wants to tell you about that book. And before you ask, no, I'm not talking about my good friends Stephen King or Neil Gaiman. I have photo proof. I'm talking about someone else entirely, someone who is actually a booktuber like myself, so chances are you know this person. And if you don't, well, it's your lucky day, you're welcome, thank me later. Roll the intro. Today I want to tell you about a book that one of my friends wrote. And this is technically actually going to be a book review, so those two things don't really go hand in hand, and I can understand if you're already skeptical. Here's the thing, I'm going to do my absolute best to approach this book review without bias. That's my promise to you, but in saying that, it's impossible for me to say that being friends with the author of this book didn't affect my reading experience. So I'm going to tell you honestly what I thought of it, but I think it is important to keep in mind that I am friends with the author. Anyway, I should probably just tell you, I'm talking about Ben Sanders and his book, The Demon in the Trees. So I am going to tell you the pros and cons I had with this, but I'm going to also cut straight to the chase and just tell you I give it 3 stars, 3 out of 5. 3, I go off the Goodreads standard of reviewing, so 3 stars means I liked it. There's basically 1 star, which is you don't like it at all. 2 stars, which is it was completely average. 3, you liked it. 4, it was amazing. 5, I don't know, it was life-changing or something. Anyway, I went with 3 because it was okay, and it did exceed my expectations, but at the same time it didn't blow my mind. I'm going to start with the cons because I want to leave the video on a good note. I will quickly let you know that the book centers around the protagonist Robert Michaels, who is a newly promoted detective, basically unraveling the mystery of a missing girl, a missing young lady. And as the story goes on, you seem to realize that there are supernatural elements involved here, so it's interesting. That's basically the premise of the story, really. It's an easy one to summarize. So as for cons, and Ben, if you're watching this, just bear with me, okay? Try to at least make it through to the pros. So this is perhaps the biggest con, and it comes in 2 forms. Number 1 is pacing. I feel that the story had a pretty slow pace that could have been improved a bit with the second part of that con, which is the lack of action. There really is only maybe 2 or 3 memorable action scenes. I think they might be the only action scenes in the whole story, and there was just a lot of room for more. I realized the main plot line didn't leave much opportunity for there to be constant conflict, but part of writing about a detective is that you can include subplots that do tie into the main story, but add a little bit of spice, the spicier action on the side. For example, Robert Michaels could have, on his way to his next witness, he could have come across a crime and stopped that crime and realized that some part of that small crime does help him out with the larger investigation. I don't know, that's just my opinion. There was a lot of fluff in the story that could have been replaced with action. There was a lot of traveling from place to place, uncovering small bits of information for the story at large. In some instances, not really discovering anything new. It was just about 20 pages of no real occurrences. I feel like it opens the door to the second one having a lot more action, which I'm thankful for because I will be reading on with this series, but I'm anticipating there to be a lot more action. I'm hoping so. Fingers crossed. Wink wink, Ben. The second con I have is that I don't think it was entirely necessary to write from different people's perspectives in this story. I think the choice of writing in first person was brilliant. A large part of the story and the draw was seeing Detective Michael's thought process as he unraveled the mystery. That was part of the fun of the story, but also pretty much every instance where you read from the view of someone else didn't add to the story. You didn't learn anything new about that character or think differently of that character after reading their point of view for the, few pages. And even more than that, I think at the end of the story, I won't give spoilers, but at the end of the story, doing the switching from people actually ruined something that could have been a large part of suspense for the story. There was something revealed before its time that, if left, would have been a great point of suspense, simply because Ben decided to write from the other character's point of view. And then the last con, I guess, is just that there were very, very few spelling errors in there. I mean, maybe 2 or 3 that I noticed. I get pretty involved in the stories though, so maybe it was more. I don't know. That's not a big con for me because it didn't take away from the story or anything. It was very small things, so barely even worth mentioning. Now the fun part. The prose! The absolute best part of the story, and the thing I loved the most about it, was that it felt like you were trying to solve the mystery as you read on with Robert Michaels. You were kind of like his partner in the seat next to him, trying to help him solve the mystery. There were scatterings of clues along the way that you would try to piece together to find out what happened. That's something that I found quite rare with other writers writing about crime, that sort of thing. Something that's hasn't really been done well since Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, and I think Ben did a good job. Like I said before, some of the clues didn't really lead anywhere or were kind of useless tidbits of information, but there were nuggets in there that were fun felt like you were discovering them as well. Another pro I'd have for this is that the story itself felt like an origin story. I know in some cases that might even be a bad thing, but in this case, I loved it. It felt like it was the origin story to your cliche, brooding, I don't play by the rules detective, the off-the-books detective that you see on TV everywhere, you read about everywhere.
Well, in Beverly Hills, we go strictly by the book.
I hear from the boys upstairs you've been sticking your nose in a Ralph Elliott
There was
case.
a problem.
Don't think, Axel. It makes my dick itch.
Your ass is on the line here.
Yes, Captain.
Don't yes, Captain me.
Can be a bit exhausting, but this was a really fresh take because it felt like you were reading about how the character became that. And I'm not even sure that that is what Robert Michaels will be like in the future, but that's what it felt like, and I really liked it. Which is weird, because if someone pitched that to me, I would be like, I don't know about that. But I did, it was good. Imagine kind of like DC's Constantine, if we get to add in the supernatural element, in his early days. That's what it felt like. So yeah, that's it. That's Robert Michaels' The Demon in the Trees. I give it 3 stars. It was good. It exceeded my expectations. I'm hoping the second one picks up the pace a lot, adds a lot more action, then I'll be even happier. But yeah, I wasn't disappointed, I'll say that much. I'll put the links to the book, to buy the book, below of course, and you can find Ben's channel linked there as well. Ben really is a great guy. He's one of the friendliest, kindest faces you'll see on BookTube, so I can't recommend him enough. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I doubt this will be the last BookTuber book that I do a review on, but this is one that's been long overdue. Ben sent me this book last year, like early last year, to do an honest review for him, and I know I slacked off, which I feel bad about because he did a book review for me without me even asking for it, so like I said, he's a nice guy. As always, thanks for watching. If you want to, do the thing, follow me on the thing, and I'll see you in the next video. Catch ya.